Welcome back to the show. Today we have a young real estate developer that has developed multiple properties, and we're going to dive into how he would get into real estate development if he had to start all over again. So let's dive right into the video. Welcome to Coffee and Cash Flow. In this series, we sit down for coffee with real estate investors who are working towards financial freedom, one income property at a time. If you are a real estate investor or aspiring to become a real estate investor, this show is for you. So Christian, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Chris,
and I just want to drop some knowledge for these real estate entrepreneurs that are out there. They might be real estate agents. They might just be at a 9-to-5 job they want to get out of. So I know you started this business. You know, you're young. You're having success with it. How would you start all over if you had to start from scratch? Like, what would you recommend people do out there?
So if I had to start from scratch, and Chris, thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
I appreciate
you're welcome.
it. If I had to start from scratch, I'd probably, I'd probably start working at least in my case, right? So this is just my perspective, my experiences and stuff like that. I'd probably go back into like the construction field, right?
Okay.
And then but I would also network with different people. Just meet. Your network is your net worth, right? So you need to meet as many people as possible. Today, I make it a goal of mine, and I've been hitting this consistently. Is like I like to meet 5 people a day, where I hand them my card. I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is Christian. I buy houses. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
I buy houses. I buy land. You know, so it's big. You always want to network with everybody because you never know who that person might become in the future. You never know who that person is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Like prior to this meeting right now, I met a person that has spent, $10 million in the past year in Rhode Island.
Wow.
Buying properties on the east side.
That's
huge.
Huge.
And it's a client of ours, so it's like, you just never know who you're gonna meet. And that person was referred to me from someone on Instagram. Started doing some business with someone on Instagram, and we got cool. Next thing you know, connections happen like that. So it's like, it's always about doing the right thing for people, always meeting new people, having an open mind about people, you know what I mean? And just, my biggest thing would be probably, I said construction probably would be like the field I would go back into, but I'd probably start wholesaling again.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be the best, because so if I need, like, let's say because right now we need deals.
Yes.
So if I go out there, start looking for extra lots, going full force on like some marketing with getting land and stuff like that, getting the deal and then bringing it to a developer to be able to maybe, hey, listen, you think or just networking when you don't even have the deal yet. Hey, you think if I get you a piece of land, for how much are you looking to pay? Like how can I work with you? Is there any way that maybe if I find you a piece of land, I get it under contract as a wholesale, and I sell it to you, maybe you can like break me off a piece of equity and I'll work with you and like, just make it happen. So, and most people, if you come to them and offer them a deal, especially right now when there's almost like, very minimal deals, low inventory, they'd be like, yeah, you know what? Why not? And the worst thing that can happen is they say no.
I like that. So you pretty much you're creating an opportunity with very little skin in the game per se, and you're adding value to somebody that, that's what they need. And they might have the capital, they might have the experience, but you bring them that deal, you could jump on board with them, learn a lot, and then still make a profit.
Absolutely.
That's smart.
Absolutely. And so even let's say if they're not willing to give you equity or whatever in the final product, but at least if you can make some money on the wholesale, right? And then you say, hey, listen, is there any way that I can shadow you and just learn the process, and just be around, and if like you need me to go pick something up from Home Depot, like I will, whatever the case may be. But just providing value to that person, learning the process as you're going, and that's kind of how I would get back into it.
I love that. So pretty much it's finding somebody that's already doing it, that has the capital and the resources, and then learning how to assess the deal and then bring that to them. And if it's a bad deal, they're gonna say, hey, I don't want it.
Exactly.
And then that will be a lesson to you. And if they do want it, you might be able to jump in, shadow them, and really, work side by side with them. Even if you're not making a profit, you're gonna get a lot of value back in knowledge.
Absolutely.
Which is ultimately how you become successful in any business.
Yeah.
It's being knowledgeable, being able to provide more value, and ultimately, taking that knowledge and then turn it into profit down the road. But you're saying right off the rip, just start out trying to get that knowledge. Don't worry so much about making a ton of money. Just get the foundation set.
Absolutely. And that's basically how I've been able to, elevate myself at, these years, the past, 8 years, since I started getting into real estate and stuff like that. I mean, the way that I got into real estate was I called the We Buy Houses sign.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I didn't even have a house to sell them, but I was like, hey, I'll work for you for free if you teach me like the game.
I love that. Yeah.
And so that was back like in 2016 when no one was really wholesaling like that. And my first task, he's like, yeah, sure, let's meet up at Dunkin' Donuts. So let's see what you're about. So we met up. He's like, yeah, the first task he gave me was inputting 3,000 contacts into an Excel sheet.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I had to get it done by a certain day. I forgot what it was, but I stayed up. I would go work my regular job. I was working at Electric Boat. And then at night, I would be doing that. Whenever I had free time, I'd be doing that.
It's a grind.
To be able to get it done, And I got it done, presented it to him, and I proved myself to him. And so from that point, we started wholesaling. We started putting up bandit signs everywhere. And so he put me onto the game of wholesaling. We would be up on Saturdays, putting bandit signs all over the towns and everywhere. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it's crazy. And then we were, he brought me to the Rhode Island Real Estate Club, the one that's at the Crown Plaza now.
I do know that. Yep.
When they were like on Warwick and right across the street from the airport.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was going to those meetings at a young age. I was 20 years old. Everyone else was much older than me going to that. And but it's just like I met certain people at that point that I would meet later on now. It's so crazy how like the world works, So long story short, that guy, he ended up leaving to Florida.
Wow.
And so, because he was part of the National Guard, he had transferred over there. So he had to go. And so I kind of just stopped because I felt like I didn't have the confidence. But one thing he did before he left, and when we did as many wholesales as we did like 10 wholesales. And he would break me off a piece off of each one. It wasn't like, he was splitting it with me, but it was nice. Extra money, and I learned. And one of the things was like, he was like, hey, do you own a home? I was like, no. And at the time too, I was going through some stuff like renting and stuff like that. He's like, why don't you own a home? He's like, oh, well, I don't think I could buy one. He's like, why not? He's like, well, I don't know. He's like, well, have you been working for 2 years? He's like, yeah. I was like, what's your credit score? I was like, I think it's like 650. He's like, okay. So can you come up with a down payment? Like, and then I was like, I'm sure I can. And then he was like, all right, well, listen, go talk to 3 loan officers. Here's their numbers. Go talk to each one, set up a meeting, and see if they can get you approved.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, wow, okay. So at the age of 23, I bought my first home.
Nice. Was it a multifamily or a single?
Multifamily.
Smart.
Multifamily. And I worked 3 jobs to get that house.
Wow.
So I was working at Electric Boat. I was working Saturdays, Sundays. Saturdays, time and a half. Sundays is double time. Everybody that works at Electric Boat knows that. And then I would do Uber.
Wow, man, that's a hustle.
I would do Uber and moving jobs. And the moving jobs, that's why listen, if I ever have to move again, I always pay movers. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, I'm scarred. You know what I mean?
You don't want to deal with it anymore, man.
No. Like, one time we went to go do a moving job. This guy was moving in from Miami. I guess he wanted to be closer to his son. And the stuff that he had, man, that was so heavy. Granite bars. Like, it was
man. It's back-breaking work.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And so, like, but I worked 3 jobs, and I got the down payment, and we made it happen. And we moved in, and that's kind of my first blood, sweat, and tears house,
That is awesome.
And from there, we just kept going.
That's huge. So basically, just to emphasize that, you really have to work hard to get this thing off the ground. It's like an airplane. It takes a lot of momentum to get off the ground, but once you get off, it's a lot easier. But to get it off the ground right off the rip, you got to put a lot of work in. And a lot of people underestimate that.
Yeah, like you might see me in a suit right now, right? But earlier today, I was in a hoodie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like work clothes, So even till today, it's not like, I feel like maybe I need to start posting more of the actual work that I'm doing, because I'm out there carrying 2x6s and 2x4s, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes schedules don't work out, so it's like, we're ready to be at this stage, but the material's not here. All right, well, let's go grab some trucks. Let's get the trucks. Let's go transport a whole first floor platform and exterior walls on 3 trucks and bring it over there so that we can get rocking and rolling. You know, time is money. We can't waste time.
Especially, yeah, exactly. That's huge. That is huge, especially with development projects, because the more you wait, the more it costs you and the less profit margin you're ultimately getting, right?
Exactly.
So it's a big deal.
No, yeah,
so to recap this, you know, pretty much you would say, you know, if you had to start over again, just respect the grind, hustle, put the work in, and then start getting around mentors and network with people that are already doing what you want to do.
Absolutely, and bring them value.
Bring them value. Always add value.
Yeah, if you could bring them a deal, even better. You know
That's
what
awesome.
I mean? Like the basic. I always say this: the best way to start into anything in real estate, I mean, at least for me, is wholesaling.
Yep.
You know, wholesaling, because you're literally just like, you know, selling a contract. You know,
Low risk.
low risk and stuff like that. And right now, deals are very far in between, right? So it's like if you bring the right deal to the right person, they'll definitely teach you something. You know, if you ask them the right way, if you come correct, if you present yourself in a good manner as well, you know, you can't just show up with your pants sagging. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not good. You got to be able to speak right too. I mean, you know, a lot of us, you know, swear and stuff like that, but it's like you got to be able to hold a certain level of professionalism that, you know what I mean? It has to be there.
I agree. First impressions are key.
Yeah.
It's key. It really is.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome, man. That's some good knowledge. So if you want to check it out, he's on Instagram. It's under Method Invest. And if you have questions about this topic, drop them in the comment section below and like the video. We come out with new content for real estate entrepreneurs on a weekly basis. So if you like that kind of content, subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in and have an awesome day.